Okay, great. So I'm Jordan Gruber. I am the one and only media facilitator for the CNI EdTech department at IU21. And I wear many hats, but one of them is doing PD for some EdTech tools. So today, that's why we're going to be talking about Screencastify. My email is there on the screen, gruberj@cliu.org. If you have any pointed questions for me, go right ahead and send me an email. Also, my Twitter handle's there in case you want to give me some feedback or share anything you've done with Screencastify. So just another welcome. Obviously, we are all here in this unprecedented time together. So just take the time to learn new things and take every day as a new possibility and see the silver lining in all this. It's hard sometimes, but we'll get through it. Okay, so in this session, we are going to go over installing Screencastify in your Google Chrome browser as an extension. You will need Google Chrome to run Screencastify, as its function is a Chrome browser extension. Don't freak out at that if you are a Firefox user or some other browser. That's okay. Just wait until the end of this presentation. You can go back, follow step by step, install Google Chrome, and go from there to install the browser extension. I'm sure most of you have Google Chrome. I would be painting with a broad stroke maybe, but anyway, we can do that. We can go back and fix that after this tutorial's through with. We're also going to talk about navigating Screencastify with its various features. We're going to talk about the how-tos of Screencastify, so how exactly to record your screen, and then the uses of Screencastify. So how do I move forward in my instruction and use this tool with students? Some of you might be wondering what even is Screencastify. So with Screencastify, it is a screen capture tool to record your screen. And with that tool, you can capture a presentation or tutorial on your computer screen. You can narrate over screen sharing with Screencastify as it integrates your microphone. You can then download that recording and use that recording in instruction. And we're going to talk about ways you can do that more toward the end, but you can take your Screencastify recording or link and share it anywhere you want, pretty much. Once you have the file or the link, you're good to go with using that in your instruction in various places. Now, as they say, every storm brings the sunshine. Every free account brings its limitations. So we're going to talk a little bit about the limitations that a free Screencastify account has. First of all, one limitation is that it's 5 minutes per recording. This did change in earlier versions of Screencastify. It was a 10-minute limit with, I think, 55 videos a month. I don't know if it changed as a rule or because of the pandemic going on. But right now, as I live and breathe, it is 5 minutes per recording, and then it cuts you. And there is no limit, though, to how many 5 minutes you can do per month, I believe. And Dee or Kathy, you can certainly chime in if I'm wrong about that, but that's the information I have. There is no access to the editor after a 3-day trial in your free account, so you do have to pay for the editing functions. Also, you're, to my knowledge, not able to download an MP4 under normal circumstances. Right now, access is open to downloading the MP4 file. So the MP4 file, for those of you who may not know, is a video file. Normally, you have to download with Screencastify a different kind of file that we will talk about later. However, right now it's nice and easy and straightforward. They do allow you to download MP4s currently. So don't let this overwhelm you. I'm going to break it all down. We're going to start by downloading the extension. And like I said before, you don't have to try and do this live right now. What I suggest is for you guys to just follow along, and I'll really go over this process in detail. And later you can go back and sort of follow step by step, just because you might get caught up along the way, and not everyone can do this all at the same time without us spending a lot of time on it. So I do have the link here for you though, where you can go to the Chrome Web Store, specifically the extensions piece of that. And when you're there, you're going to just search in the search bar here for Screencastify. It's going to come up on your screen. And mine right here in the blue button says rate it because I've already added it. But yours will say download extension, I believe, or some verbiage similar to that. So it'll say add it or download extension. Once you do that, you're going to just accept where it's asking you to access your system's microphone and video. You're going to accept that. It's going to pop up then in the upper right-hand corner of your browser next to your picture. And it's going to look like this, a red arrow with a camera in it. That is the Screencastify logo there. So you'll know that it's in your toolbar. Once you have that in your toolbar, the way to set up Screencastify is to click on that, and it's going to ask you some options. So basically, you can get started right away. It's pretty easy with setup. It's going to give you these three options, one for browser tab, one for desktop, and one for webcam only. So we're going to focus mostly on the desktop function today. When you record using just a browser tab, it limits you to one browser tab. So you really don't have the freedom to hop from place to place if you need to. However, that is certainly a good option if that is what you're looking for, just a focused one place, one browser tab. The desktop, that's going to show everything you're doing on your screen, a complete mirror of your whole desktop. Webcam only is self-explanatory. It's just going to share your webcam. So it's just using the interface with your webcam. And the options below include your microphone and your webcam. So that's just enabling your microphone and webcam. Similar to Zoom, you can choose to disable both or either one of those. Right now, in these two graphics, I have the webcam disabled. There is research that shows that disabling the webcam in a screencast is best practice because it can be distracting. So I just usually disable the webcam and keep the focus on the content on the screen. I'm going to pause. Are there any questions right now before I dig deeper?
I do not have any questions in the chat. I do now. What does Screencastify cost?
What does Screencastify cost? I
got it.
Oh, thank you, Dee.
It's $49 per person per year, and you get unlimited recording with those powerful editing features. The 5-minute per video with recording features is the free version. That free version, you get that 5-minute video. I can put a link to the comparison of the free and unlimited. I will put a link in the chat so that if anybody wants to check that out.
Great. Thank you, Deanne. Appreciate that. Yes, I should have come with that info, but I get so excited over the free accounts that I just totally throw the paid ones out the window. But
I've been using the free account for years.
yeah,
So you can
yeah.
manage certainly with the free account, especially since you're, and most of the time as a teacher, you want mini tutorials and things like that you might be casting, and you want them to be short anyway.
Yeah, we as a department in C&I have used Screencastify for a long time. So it's a powerful tool. You really don't need to have the editing tools. Certainly it's nice to have. If you have access though to any editing software at all, you can pretty much do what the editor can do and then some. So just my thoughts on that. Any more questions before I move along?
Not.
I don't see anything.
Okay, feel free to interject. I'm just gonna move along. So from here, once you've toggled those settings, you can really just jump into starting your recording. Like I said, you have those 3 options to record your browser tab, your desktop, or use your webcam only. What I'm going to show you here is using the desktop function and recording your entire screen. So I have shown here that I'm enabling the microphone and the webcam. That's just for exemplary purposes. And what will pop up when you click record is this window here to the right. It will give you the options to record your entire screen or just an application window. So different than just your browser tab, it's going to limit to just one application. I always click your entire screen because like I mentioned before, if you start limiting yourself, at least for me, I start to navigate to different places, and then my students are like, I can't see what you're doing. And I realize that's because I've limited my sharing. So I always stick to your entire screen. So you go ahead and click that, and then you click share. At this point, it's going to start a countdown, and it beeps 3 to 5 times. That is a setting you can toggle in your settings. I'm just trying to think if I covered everything with that. We can go back at the end though if there are questions. Okay. So once it does that countdown, the 3 or 5 seconds, you're going to be recording. So you'll be recording your screen, you'll be recording your presentation, your voiceover, whatever it is you want to record. And at the end, when you click done on the Screencastify logo at the top, it's going to take you to a new page. It's going to auto load what you just recorded. From there, you're going to get these sharing options on your screen. It's going to be all contained on the right-hand side bar, and these are your options for saving and sharing, and we're going to go over them all. So the first of 3 breakdowns that you can share and save. Your first is Google Drive. You can copy a shareable link. You can toggle the privacy settings, and you can, it saves directly to your Google Drive. You can do it that way, or you can choose to share this recording to Google Classroom. You can publish it directly to YouTube, get an embed code, send in an email, or generate a QR code. So those are all the methods and ways you can share. Or you can choose to download this file. So that's kind of what I like doing the most, because then I own it forever. Like I have it forever then. And I can choose to do whatever I want with that file. So right now, like I say, they have the export as MP4 option, which is really nice. If you click just the basic download arrow, that's going to download a different file type for you. We're going to talk about that next. That way of downloading that specific file type is going to only play that video through a Chrome tab, which is fine, and it works perfectly. We're going to talk about it. So you can definitely use that option, export as MP4. You can also choose to export your audio only, or you can choose to export as an animated GIF. I don't generally use the GIF option unless it's a very short clip. I just don't think that the quality is that good, and I don't think it just has as many applications. So if you click strictly the download button, it is going to download to your computer as a WebM file. This gets just a little technical, but follow with me. This is why I prefer to download as a MP4. It's just a little more straightforward. This downloads as a WebM file, and then what you'll do, it's going to show at the bottom of your Chrome browser right here in the black bar. That's what it's going to look like. When you click it, find it in your Finder, right-click it, go to Open with Google Chrome. It's going to play that file. So that's the only difference, is that instead of it being a direct save to your computer with an MP4, you'll have to play this through the Chrome browser. So that's totally fine and totally effective. It's just a couple extra steps. I'm sure that your students will know what to do with it, and it's not it's not that complicated, but like I say, just a couple extra steps, and that's Screencastify's usual way of playing your videos. Excuse me. I believe if there wasn't the coronavirus crisis going on, that this would be your only option. Other than the other two options, this would be your only download option without the paid account. Does that make sense to everybody? Because usually they have that MP4 option disabled, but I believe right now they opened it. Okay, so I found a really good resource on Screencastify here. You will be able to refer to this video here. It's an 11-minute long video, but it really walks you through every single step. You can refer to this here, and it'll walk you through, straight through a recording, straight through the download, and everything will be there for you. I'm going to pause here for any questions. I realize I'm kind of flying through this, but it is relatively straightforward. I can pop out and show you guys how to do this live, but are there any questions right now?
There's nothing in the chat thus far.
Okay.
I think once you get through your slide deck and all of the steps, showing it live would be beneficial for those who have not actually used or seen this before. Oh, and somebody is asking now, where do you find the video that's on the screen now?
You can, it is embedded directly in the presentation. So if you visit the presentation, you can play from there, but you can also go to YouTube and just type in Screencastify. It should be one of the first ones to pop up. It's called Easy Screen Recording with Screencastify. And the channel is Technology for Teachers and Students.
You got it. Good.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure thing. All right, so this slide just breaks down different pieces of that video. So if you're having a problem at a certain step, you can just skip to these timestamps in the video to help you along. Okay, as far as using with students, some of you might be asking at this point, so what do I do with this download or recording once I have it? So a few things. You can share this to them via Google Drive, YouTube, or direct link. You can embed this into Google Classroom. You can link this in Canvas or Schoology. So lots of different ways you can share this and use this in your instruction. And again, referring to the beginning of the presentation, you can do a variety of things with this. You can talk over a presentation. You can demonstrate web-based tools on your screen. Anything that you're doing on your screen that you'd like to narrate or demonstrate, Screencastify is going to help you do that. It's going to be the vehicle to help you record that and share that to your students. So in talking a little more about the possibilities, obviously recording and narrating presentations is such a great tool for that. Sharing tutorials for new software. I know for me particularly, I'm working with a class right now on video editing. So a group of kids wants to learn a little bit about the basics of video editing. I can use this tool, Screencastify, to teach them the basics without even being there really. So I can facilitate this whole thing with that class by just using Screencastify and narrating over the tutorial. So as I'm doing what I'm doing on my computer screen, Screencastify is just working in the background to record. And it's recording what I'm doing on the screen as well as recording my audio. So whatever I'm saying over that recording, it's putting it all together, and I can then push it out to those kids and say, here, I did a little tutorial for you on the basics of editing. It's a really great thing for something like that.
Teachers, think about, I'm sorry, Jordan, it's Dee, I'm interrupting here for a minute.
No problem.
Think about, you know, when you're going over how to solve a math problem. Kathy just put in the chat, bringing PowerPoint or Google Slides to life, being able to narrate over those for your students, especially in the situation we're in now with all of this remote learning. They get to hear you, and I know Jordan went over it a little bit earlier. You can have it with the webcam as well, so it kind of embeds you in that screencast so they can see you. Kathy also just put in the chat about English learners. They can see the text and hear you read it aloud. So think about all those possibilities on top of all of the different things that Jordan just mentioned. Be a little creative in using this in your classrooms. Your current state of your classrooms, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. This is such a great tool for enabling really creative remote learning. So have fun with it. Definitely, you can, I'm sorry, my dog is being very loud. You can enable your webcam so your students can see you. That might be particularly good for the younger kiddos who might get really excited to be able to see their teacher. So definitely be creative. Use it the way that you want to use it. It's a really great tool.
Jordan, this is Kathy. Can I also say for me personally, I love that you said, you know, you don't need to, the editing tools. It's so short, don't edit. Too many of us are perfectionists.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that just it releases me from feeling like I have to do a lot of editing. It's so short and it's just can be natural.
Yeah, and to that point, exactly. To that point, you want short and succinct content anyway. There is a 5-minute limit, but the shorter and more succinct your content is, the more effective it's going to be. So keep that in mind. That limit is definitely in place to sort of give you that parameter to work with, but to also encourage that shorter, more succinct, really fluid content. So we are going to pop out and I'm going to do a live demonstration of this.
Can I, while you're getting there, Jordan, can I
Sure.
add something? For those of you who are using Google Classroom, the really cool thing about Screencastify being a Google Chrome extension is that it automatically creates that Screencastify folder in your Google Drive, and saving things to your Google Drive allows you to then just take that and push that right into Google Classroom, into your class stream. So if there's a tutorial you're creating or something that you want to push out to your students through Google Classroom, it makes it really slick and easy because of that automatic creation of the file into your Google Drive.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe that Canvas and Schoology have similar plugins, Dee, is that right? Where you can just it integrates with Screencastify and you can, yeah. So that's the really great thing about this. If you have the file or the link, you can do anything you want with this. You can send out the link to this video via the Remind app to your students if you wanted. I mean, really the sky's the limit with what you can do once you have it. So I am going to start sort of live showing you guys how to enable this and toggle a couple settings. So work with me through this. Can you currently see my Google home screen, Dee or Kathy? We're on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so as you can see, my mouse is up here by the Screencastify logo. I'm going to click that, and you guys pay attention to what happens when I click this. Okay, so it's going to first open up our dialog box. And as you can see, since I'm speaking, it is showing you that my voice is registering on this sort of wavelength here. So that's telling me my microphone's working. I can click to embed the webcam. Right now, I'm going to turn it off. Yeah, right now I'm going to turn it off, but normally the webcam would show up in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You can move it anywhere you want, but that's where it'll show up. If you click show more options, everybody with me, show more options, that's where you can toggle your countdown. So usually it's set by default to 3 seconds. What I like to do is set it to 5. Because when you are presenting, that gives you time to switch tabs during that 5 seconds. Sorry, my email's going off. That gives you time during that 5 seconds to go to your presentation, click present, and then it just looks more polished that way to start the recording with your slide deck fully on the screen, and you don't have to kind of fish around. So that's nice. You can also toggle if you want more time in the countdown to 10 seconds. And the drawing tools, we're going to touch on that also, but you can draw while you're recording. I'll show you guys a little bit more about that. Settings. Okay, so your advanced settings here, I'm just going to keep everything the same, but you can, I believe, yeah, this is really nice. You can change all of this. So 30 frames per second, this is getting a little more technical for you guys, but you can do a resize. You can do a resolution, change the frame rate. That's really nice to have. Some notifications from Screencastify, and then my recording. So that will take you to your previous screen recordings. That's really nice to have. So pay attention to what happens when I click record. You're going to go ahead and see the countdown, and then I'm just going to record me visiting the Google extension store and searching for Screencastify, just so you guys can kind of see an example of one of these recordings. So here we go. As we see here, I'm going to click my entire screen and then click share. It's counting down. And here we are. So as you can see, it did do the 5-second countdown on Screencastify. Right here in the lower left-hand corner of my screen, you can see the drawing tools. So right here is, right here is the, oh yes, this will put, do you see the red circle around my cursor? So every time you click, your kiddos can see what you're clicking on. Right here's the pen. So you can do anything with this pen. You can circle, you can draw an arrow if you need to do that. You can also click the eraser and erase. That is a really nice thing to have if you're kind of looking at a page with a lot of content and you would like to point your kids to something. You can just go ahead and click the pen. You can change the color to anything you want. Give a little highlight. So that's a really nice tool. Okay. Also, you can change your cursor settings. So I just went ahead and clicked on the pointer, and it brings up a bunch of settings here to highlight clicks. You can hide the cursor when it's not moving, or you can focus the mouse, which just gives like a blur effect. So it just brings more attention to it. That's really nice too. As you can see, the red dot is up here on my Screencastify toolbar. logo, and that's just telling you that it's recording. Just like on a camera when the red dot is illuminated, same thing here. So let's go ahead, and since we're here, just do a search for the Google extension store. And first result here is the Chrome Web Store for extensions. We're going to click that. Here we are. We're right where we need to be, extensions. And I'm going to go ahead and search for Screencastify and click enter. And right here, first up is Screencastify. So what you'll do is it'll say add to Chrome right here in blue. You guys are going to click that, and it's going to ask you for access to your mic and your video. You're going to click OK, and then it's going to install for you, and it's going to pop up right here like I have it in your toolbar, and you'll have Screencastify. So at this point, guys, I'm going to stop the Screencastify recording, not your Zoom recording. You're still going to see me. I'm just going to stop the Screencastify.
Can I jump in before you stop?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you go back down to the left bottom where you have the tools?
Yes.
Where the highlighter and such were.
Yes.
Because you can, you might want to point out that the pause is there, that you are able to pause that video.
Oh, you know what? Yes. Hold on. Here we go. Yes, here are the pointers, and right here you can pause the recording. Yes. Now the reason it wasn't working on the last page is because that's technically not a web page. Don't worry about that. But yes, on any web page, this will come up, and it'll be right here in the lower left corner of your screen. Right here, you can click pause, and it'll pause your recording. So if you do have to switch pages and you don't want your kiddos to see something, you can go ahead and click pause. You can have, you can pause that recording, do what you need to do, get back on track, and then unpause. Does that cover it, Dee? Anything else?
No, thank you for doing that. I think, you know, it's important to know that they can pause.
Yes.
This might be a dumb question, Dee. This is Kathy and Jordan. But when you pause, does that count toward your 5 minutes, do you think?
I don't believe so. I think that it's the length of the video.
Okay.
It stops your video. Yes.
That's
So
great.
it does not count toward your, that's why it's so great to use. Thank you for pointing that out, Dee. So guys, as we're rounding to the end of 5 minutes here, it does pop up and say your recording will end in 22 seconds, and it is counting down. Can everybody see that it is counting down here? It gives you the option to upgrade, clever enough, or you can just dismiss it. The video will run out. And it will load on the next page. I'm going to let it run out, and you guys can all see what happens. So let's let it run out. Okay, the recording has finished. It's been 5 minutes, and here we are. So we can see that Screencastify is popping us out to this new page. Here is my recording. It's right up here, the date, April 1st. It is saving to my Google Drive automatically. It does say I've reached the 5 minute limit. It's asking me to upgrade, dismiss. I'm not going to do that right now. So look at that, how it's automatically saving to my drive. That's really nice. And it did automatically pop into this web page. Did everybody see that? It's really nice that it just automatically sort of does the work for you. Great. And it has saved to my Google Drive. So I can copy the shareable link. It's copied. I can open a new tab. I can paste that link. I can visit it, and boom, it is in my Google Drive. It is just processing the video. So right there, you have that recording. You have the link to that recording. It's such a nice thing. Right away, you'll have it. And again, it is there, but it is processing. So it'll just take a little bit, like any video, to process and sort of get there. But once it's there, maybe 5 minutes, your kids can access it and see that content. So that's really nice. I'll just review the other two sharing options since we're here. And as you can see, it is playing my recording while I'm sort of here toggling my options. So you can pause that. So other options are share. You can share to your Google Classroom. You can publish to YouTube. You can get the embed code. So that pops up right here. If you have like a class website, that's really nice. You can copy that, send in an email, generate a QR code. That's really nice. I know a lot of you, some people still use the QR codes, and that's still a really cool thing to do. Also, you have your download options. So you can choose when I click download, let's see if it pops up. Yeah, it does. It'll ask me where I want to save it. So if I just save it in my external hard drive, it's going to go ahead and save there as a WebM file. And we talked about that earlier. If it's a WebM, if you use just this download function, that's what it'll be. And you'll have to just play it through Chrome. However, you can also export as MP4, which is just a straightforward video file. It'll do the same thing where it'll ask you to where to save to. You can click your desktop. I use an external hard drive. It'll save the video file to there. You can also export audio only. Same thing, it'll ask you where you'd like to save it, and it'll just export your audio. So that's helpful sometimes too, if you know, you can even use this tool to do a podcast if you really wanted. If all you want is an audio recording tool, go ahead, you have that option. So it's really nice to have that. Like I said, I really haven't experimented with the animated GIF, but that might be fun for certain things, especially maybe if you do some graphics or if you're doing like video with your kids, or if you just kind of want a tool to make a short GIF, that might be a nice thing to. Has anyone used that function? I haven't used it.
Jordan, I have a question
Yes.
in the chat, and it's really not, I mean, I know the answer. I just wanted to throw it out there to everybody. The question was, since it saves to your Google Drive, do you need to download it? The answer is no, because you can access it in your Google Drive at any time, because it automatically goes into the Screencastify folder in your Google Drive. So you will be able to access it from there at any time.
Yes, and also guys, you can click on Screencastify here in your browser and click on, let it load up, click right here on My Recordings. Everybody see that next to the bell? It says My Recordings. It's two little squares with a play button in it. That'll load up your recordings page. Here's all the recordings I've done with Screencastify. How great is that? So I can just click on any one of these and toggle the same options I'm seeing with the same options I'm seeing right here. It's really, really great. This is a really powerful tool. So that's so nice. Look at how organized they are. I can see the dates. I can title them if I want. I can delete if I want. That's really, really nice.
Jordan, can you jump into your Google Drive and show them the Screencastify folder?
Yes. 1 second. So I'm navigating to Drive. So first of all, it does pop up right here, the WebM file. This pops up right here right away in my Drive. So it's automatically being popped in there. I don't know if I have a folder D. Does it for sure make a folder?
Yes, you'll have a Screencastify folder.
Okay, so I'm just gonna search for it.
There it is right there. Do you see it?
Screencastify, great. Yep. So guys, you can just search for your Screencastify folder if you're having trouble finding it. I'm just gonna click, and here we go.
And that folder is automatically generated. You don't have to generate it. It automatically generates it once you use Screencastify, and then it pops all of your recordings right into there.
Yeah, that is what's so nice, is that this tool is really intuitive and it just does everything for you. Literally, I did not have to make this Screencastify folder. The tool does all the work. It made the folder in Drive for me. It pops the videos in automatically. It's really, really nice. So as you can see, that recording we just did, it's still processing, but it popped it right in. You guys saw my screen the entire time. I didn't have to do it myself. Screencastify pushes it all there automatically. Really, really intuitive tool. Are there any questions right now? I'm going to switch back to my presentation if there's no more questions, but I can certainly switch back if you'd need me to.
There are not any questions so far in the chat. One of the things might be a really great use, especially now for Screencastify, if your students are struggling with certain things like, you know, using the technology or anything, you can jump in Screencastify really quickly and record a very quick tutorial on how to do something and ship and send it out to them. We at work in CNI, curriculum instruction, we do that a lot. We get a lot of calls from people asking us how to do something, or we get emails how to do something. Sometimes it's easier just to quickly go in, record a screencast that might be a minute, sometimes even 30 seconds, just to show them where to click, where to go, how to do something, and send them off the link to that video so that they can watch it.
Yes, absolutely. I can't tell you guys how many times that one of us has been like, I'm going to send you a tutorial, and we're on Screencastify and we put it together in like a minute or less, like no time flat, and send it out. Very easy, very convenient for things like that. So really good for a tidbit to put into longer form instruction, or a quick share for one single kid who has a problem or a question. Really good for so many different things. Are there any other questions? I feel like I flew through it, but it is such a straightforward tool.
Jordan, this is Kathy. I do not feel like you flew through it. I think you were I learned a lot. I knew the tool, but I learned more than I knew before. Thank you. Great.
All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end a little early for us today. The bit.ly link for the Act 48 is on the screen, along with the presentation link and the link to our PD site for more resources for remote learning. We have so many things on that site that you might be interested in. If you were interested in this, go right ahead and use all of those tools that we have listed on the website. I know a lot of people ask about the exit ticket. It is on your screen again. And ladies, if one of you can share in the chat the link, and then go ahead.
Do you want to do that while I read this question to Jordan?
Sure.
Okay, so Jordan, how does this compare to making an iMovie or a WeVideo? Any thoughts on that?
Yes. So basically, this tool is a lot more straightforward and a lot easier with less capabilities, but that's not a bad thing. What this tool would be for is what I demonstrated today, like a quick tutorial or a narration over a presentation or something like that. What iMovie or WeVideo is for is more artistic and edited productions. This tool differs in that it's an instructional tool, rather than iMovie and WeVideo is a video editing tool, truly. Does that answer the question?
I think
more of a creation. They're more creation tools.
A teacher mentioned OneDrive for videos. Is that good also?
OneDrive, to be honest, I am not familiar with it. I've not really used it. What I use is for video editing is Adobe Premiere, iMovie, and then for short clips like this, I use Screencastify. I know of also Screencast-O-Matic, I believe, is another one That's a competitor, but that's a good one too to use. I've not had experience with, what is it again? OneDrive. Dee, have you?
No, OneDrive would be, you're either typically people are, OneDrive is Microsoft product, meaning, if your district is full blown Microsoft products, you may be using OneDrive as opposed to Google Drive. So again, depending on your district, if your district is a Microsoft district and you're not using Google as a district, you're using OneDrive, then you would go with whatever the tool is in OneDrive.
Dee, this next question might piggyback off of that. What about recording in PowerPoint?
Yeah.
In PowerPoint or over a PowerPoint?
I assume they mean, well, that's a good question because you can narrate PowerPoint.
Through Screencastify, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, you can, absolutely, guys. You can narrate over your PowerPoints with this tool. It's easier than doing an audio recording in PowerPoint, probably. I would just suggest going through your PowerPoint in presentation mode and speaking over it with Screencastify. Absolutely, you can do that. It doesn't need to be a web tool. It's whatever's on your screen, it'll record.
And the question to clarify did mean no recording in PowerPoint, which I know I did years ago. You can narrate a PowerPoint. So if you can speak to that comparison, and then also Evelyn is sharing something, but go ahead and speak to that. Dee, have you narrated PowerPoints in PowerPoint?
Honestly, I can't tell you the last time I used PowerPoint.
I was going to say that.
Straight up Google and Google Slides. I don't even know. I can't even tell you when I opened PowerPoint on my computer last. It's been years.
Well, same here, but I do know years ago, before I used Google, I did narrate within PowerPoint. There was a narration feature. I'm sorry, we can't speak to that more. Evelyn said you can use screen recording on an iPhone if you need to make a video on your phone for your students. It's completely free. I just used it to show parents how to access their child's portfolio.
Yes, you can. And that does come on with a new update on the iPhone. Actually, I don't have it on my phone yet. I don't know why. It's just not come on with my update. But yes, it's totally free, and it's a function now within the iPhone software, I believe. And that's a really nice thing to have.
Boy, I don't have that. I want that too.
Yeah, I know my friend has it, and her phone must be, the software just must be newer. But screen recordings in general are very, very helpful. I mean, imagine years ago when we were just trying to describe, hey, well, you got to click here, and now we can literally show directly, and that's so, so valuable with instruction and troubleshooting.
Jordan, speaking of sharing, would you mind, while we still give a couple minutes for questions, I don't want to throw you, but would you mind opening our CLIU PD page and showing where this recording will be?
Absolutely.
So within the next day or so, this session recording will be available. This is our website.
Yeah, let me go back. Okay, guys, so CLIU.org, www.cliu.org. And then you're going to go to the third quick link here, CLIU Ready for Remote Instruction. Right here, it's going to show you on our PD page, which we've made in response to all this craziness lately. And up at the top, there are a few links, and one of them is recordings and resources. You're going to click that. And right here, we have every session, every Zoom session, extra resource, videos, slide decks from the past week or so. So you're going to click the arrow next to it. It's going to expand. And I am going to have today's posted by tomorrow, likely. So this is where you can find all those recordings and go ahead and use them. Don't be shy. We have it all here for you. So go right ahead. Getting started with Zoom, it's already recorded. Go ahead and click, give it a listen. Google Slides, right there. Click, listen, you're done. Really good resources here. Can somebody drop a link to that in the chat? That would be great.
Sure. While you're there, did you show the sessions that are upcoming?
Sure, let me go ahead and share that. So I'm on the front page here, I'm on the home page. And right here, you guys can see we have this Google Calendar sort of integrated here on this page. Excuse me. And you can see our schedule starting. So this is today and going forward. So April 1st, you can see here all our offerings. And if I click on one of them, it'll expand and give you the Zoom link. Here's the description, here's the link, you can join, and it's that easy to get your instruction right now. Really, really good tools. I know Deanne has been running a lot about Google Classroom. I know that Kathy has been running things related to English learners. Really good stuff, really good resources. It's literally a click away. So I hope you guys save this website, use our resources. Are there any other questions about this or anything else?
I did post both those links to our upcoming sessions and to our recordings. I don't see any other questions. Do you, Dee?
Nope.
Great.
Yeah. Last chance for questions.
And everybody, feel free to shoot me an email directly. Don't be shy. I get them all the time for, technical questions or what have you. It's at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen right now, gruberj@cliu.org. I'd be happy to help you. Thank you so much for coming today. I am really excited. This was my first live Zoom classroom, and I'm happy that I got to have your attention for a little bit today.
Great job, Jordan. Very succinct.
Hey, Jordan and Dee, before you go, help me. Maybe someone else wants to know this. So in my toolbar on Zoom, I see the reactions. I click on it, and I'm able to give a thumbs up. But where does that thumbs up go? I want to give Jordan a thumbs up.
Is it in chat, maybe?
I don't know. All right, well, I'll figure it out. Great job, Jordan. Thumbs up.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.
Bye-bye.